Hello, welcome back. We are stepping right off into episode 10 of Echoes of Zen. You know the players, you know the characters. We're going to jump right into it. Um, we left off with Haru, Laurelin, and Galvin leaving the underground facility that they had been in for hours and hours after working their way back up. Everything that they had passed had been utterly destroyed. As the three of you step out, everything is dead quiet. The sky is dark. You can see clouds on the horizon that swirl in a massive circular motion that almost goes from horizon to horizon. Lightning flicks out in the extreme distance, but casts no thunder. You hear just the rustling of the leaves as the wind hits you in the face on the way out of the cave. You see no sign of anyone that you arrived here with.
It's possible we've been out longer than we thought.
Or they all got mind controlled.
Can we tell how long it's been empty?
I mean, it looks like there were people just here. I mean, not that long ago. This is a fresh campsite. You could see the flurry of footsteps all over the site as people walk this way and that, investigating what was exactly going on here. Laurelin, give me a perception check.
Okay. 1 second. I'm not using these dice. I rolled a 1.
You're thoroughly confused. The footsteps all around you. It just looks like madness. You can't detail anything of it. All you see is the path that leads away and towards Sarah's bounty.
I'm going to recommend we just look through the campsite, see if there's anything of value that was left behind, pick it up, and then head back.
Good idea.
So I would need investigation checks from all three of you as you look around the campsite, trying to determine if anything of value still rests here.
21.
11.
19.
Okay. You see, Laurelin, you find some field rations in one of the tents that had been shredded beyond all use. Everything within the tent looked overturned and rushed out in a hurry. They've left their backpacks with all the provisions in it. Galvin, you find on the ground as you're making your way around the perimeter, you see or step on what appears to be Beacon's holy symbol.
I found Beacon's holy symbol.
Are the tents ripped, like they were attacked?
Yes.
Is there blood?
No blood.
What kind of tracks, if there are any? Is it all human or?
That's what you were trying to determine before. It's madness to you. You can't tell.
Obviously, I'm going to pick up Beacon's holy symbol, carry it with me.
All around you, you all notice the deafening silence as even the birds have gone quiet. There's no sound coming from the ruins to the east or in any direction that you can determine. All of the noise is just rustling of leaves every now and then as gusts of wind hit the island and the mountainside.
What direction was the chaos trail going?
Towards the ruins, to the path that leads back to the colony. Essentially the same way you came in.
Well, if we've done a thorough investigation and picked up everything of value, we should head back to Saray's bounty. At least the settlement. On Saray's bounty.
Yeah, I agree.
And the three of you rush off and see nothing. I mean, there's no sign of anybody that you came here with. The guards from the colony, Beacon himself, or anyone. You rush through the path, and still all you hear is your feet pounding off the ground and the wind blowing through the trees. It doesn't take very long until you burst out of the trees and see the colony. The gates are open. You can see a central fire within the fortress itself, or the fort. Along the horizon, deep into the ocean, the swirling coalesces for what seems like, I mean, you can't even tell how far it is. It's extremely far out there. It's like a hurricane that you can see from the bottom itself. I mean, it's swirling in this mass of darkened clouds. Purple lightning streaks across the sky. And every time that lightning streaks, Galvin, you feel like a hum coming from, as far as you can tell, within the island itself. So, like, just buzzes through your entire body. That's the first thing.
It probably has to do with like the rock that this island's made out of behaves like a conductor. Well, maybe not a conductor, but it has a resonance frequency.
And there's no one, right?
Well, you can't see really within the fort, but as far as you can see, the town is darkened and silent. All of the row houses, there's no light emanating from the windows. There's no activity in the fields. Laura, you would feel the hackles on the back of your neck raise. Anyone who would like, give me a perception check.
I will.
$17 for Haru.
How much for Laura?
16.
Okay, yeah. As Galvin is talking to himself about the stone, Laura, you and Haru look back to the trees and see not dozens, but hundreds of beady yellow eyes coming from the darkened trees.
Oh gosh. What is that? I'm gonna point.
Well, Haru sizes up his odds, nods, grabs Galvin, taps Laurelin, and just starts running into the shelter of the city.
The three of you rush down. The eyes make no movement. They cover the entirety of the forest. Just hundreds of beady yellow eyes on top of each other, scattered all about, just watching. Every time lightning strikes across the sky again, as you can see the glow intensify a little bit. As you enter into the fort, you are all three startled by the sight of the two priests who have been crucified upside down and headless. Their blood has covered the stake that holds their bodies and is pooling in the sand. On the other side of the fire, you see the man you recognize as Barkley. He stands dripping wet. His clothes look like he just walked out of the sea itself. His skin is almost slimy from the glow of the fire. His hair, stringy, hangs across his face. He chuckles as he addresses you. I'm very glad to see you here. It took you quite long enough.
You did this? Why? Why would you do this?
All will be made clear, young child. And as he's saying this, you can hear directly to the east of you where the chapel is, like, as the spirit that you all recognize as Silas bursts from the church, screaming, Barkley! Immediately, Barkley raises a hand and traces an arcane sign within the air, and a spectral hand grasps Silas and drags him to the fire. He's screaming in terror and agony the entire way.
Okay. At this point, I'd like to say Haru is going to close the distance to Barkley and try decking him again.
Okay. As you leap forward, you will notice the unconscious body of Lyle at Barkley's feet. Do you still wish to move forward?
Yeah.
Okay. And then everybody roll initiative.
$14.
Nice. 23. But I wasted a 20.
Yeah, what was yours?
I got a 14.
All right, Haru, you rush forward. Describe and roll your attack.
Okay. So I'm going to go ahead. Let's see. We were unconscious for a while. Does that count as a short rest? For key points' sake.
I would have you guys at a long rest.
Okay. Long
You
rest.
were unconscious for quite a while.
So full spell slots, full Help
Yes.
points, full everything. All right, good to know. Supposing I can get to Barkley with 40 feet of movement speed, I'm just gonna close the distance and make 2 attacks. Main action, bonus action.
Excellent. Let's roll it.
3 attacks and burning a key point.
Okay.
Not good. Let's start with the lowest. 14 to hit.
Miss.
All right. 16 to hit.
Miss.
Okay. So that'll just be a 21 to hit remaining.
That will do it.
All right. So he's going to go ahead and take a whopping 5 points of damage.
Excellent. Yeah, you leap across the fire, through the flame, and pelt out a flurry of blows that he sidesteps to, and you graze him on the chin. It feels disgusting to your scaly fist. It slides right off like you're punching moss on a stone. There's no give to his face. He twists around and pushes you past him, even with the attack. So you're now behind him.
Okay.
Galvin.
Okay, so how far is Haru from me, I should say?
He's about 45 feet right now.
Okay. I'm going to get within 30 feet of him, so 15 feet. I'm going to move up.
Okay.
And I'm going to cast Enlarge on Haru. So
Okay.
you're going to do an extra D4.
Okay.
So it may effectively double your damage. Let's see. Wait. Actually, I didn't have to move up. My spell range is doubled.
If it requires an attack roll.
I guess I have to move up anyway.
All right. Yeah. Galvin, as you step forward and cast your spell, you see the enlarged form of Haru. You ripple in muscle beneath your scales. You become far more fearsome looking as you become large in nature, towering over Barkley. Laurelyn, we come to you.
I would like to cast Ice Knife at Barkley.
Okay.
Probably splashed me, but I'm keen to dodge it.
No, it says it. It says that
When it hits the target, it splashes to nearby enemies or nearby people.
for Ice Knife.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, well, I'm sorry. I hit
Well.
you.
I mean, you can if you want to. Haru will remember this.
All right, roll the attack.
I didn't. I did not. I rolled a 1.
Oh. Yeah,
What is this?
as you cast your spell, something fizzles as the air around you collects. You feel the moisture from the ocean gather, and the knife grows unstable before you're ready to let fly, and it explodes in your face. Give me a dexterity saving throw
Okay.
at disadvantage.
I rolled a 19, so how do you...
Roll again. Take the lower.
12.
Hey.
I don't add anything to that, right?
If
Your
you're
dexterity save.
yeah, your dexterity saving throw.
Oh, well, add 2 to that.
Yeah.
So 12 goes to 14, huh?
12 goes to 14. What is your spell saving DC? There it is. Okay. Yes, you will take half damage. So roll 1d6.
Ugh, I got a cracking dice. Fail me. I got a 6. What is this?
You have not appeased the dice gods.
Apparently.
The Kraken comes for your soul.
I'm going to be right into them. I am disappointed.
And as Laurelyn falls to the ground, ice covering her face and neck, a woman steps out from the abode that you guys have called home for these past few weeks. Her hand outstretched and eyes fixed upon the spirit of Silas. There is a twirl from the fire as it becomes a flaming tornado, and it goes to engulf the spirit of Silas. He screams, and it's joined by a group of other screams, both of whom you would recognize as the priests. Their spirits have ascended from the pools of blood on the sand and joined Silas in the tornado of fire. She closes her fist as she casts a spell towards Haru. No, not Haru. I'm sorry, Galvin. Let's see here. Yes. Should have this pulled up. Why is this taking forever? Galvin, 3 enormous bolts of purple fire fly out of her hand. Each of them hit you in the chest, dealing, let's see here. So, "12 points of damage as this hits you right in the chest, pushing you backwards half a step. Pain sears through your body. You can feel the magic's flowing through your veins like lava, burning you from the inside. As that happens, Barkley twists around and slashes with an enormous greatsword off his back. Swipes at you, Haru. $16 does not hit.
16 does hit. Attack
Does
with
it?
ties. Yeah.
Ooh. Okay.
16
Wow.
with like armor class, that's the number that you have to roll to hit, and Haru's armor class is a 16.
For some reason, I thought you had a higher one because of your dex. Okay. The blade bites into your leg, dealing 7 points of damage to you.
Okay.
He follows up with a back hit with his pommel into your gut. Yeah, that's a 19. So that one will hit, causing 1 point of bludgeoning damage, and dropping you to your knees.
All right.
With that, we go back to you.
All right. I'm going to use some movement to stand up, make an attack and bonus action attack. Nice. All right. So I got a natural 20. My bonus action attack, bless you, is only a 16. So that's going to miss, right?
Yeah, that will miss. The
All right.
20 will hit, though.
I'm going to spend a key point to make my natural 20 a key strike. Galvin, you should probably make a concentration check, DC 10, because you got hit. Enlarge is a concentration spell.
It is not.
Yeah.
That it is.
Yeah. So you got at least a 14 plus your Constitution saving throw to maintain it, but the DC was 10 because that's the minimum. All right. So
Sure.
1 die for enlarge, 1 die for normal melee, and then 2 dice for the key strike. Now, critical rules is I just double whatever the roll result is.
How I do it is I give you the max on your attack, and then you roll and add that.
Okay. All right. So that's 5, 7, 8 plus 12, so 20 plus 3. So I hit him for a solid 23.
Excellent. You connect that your large fists pound into his chest, to his body, knocking him across the fire. He rolls as he catches his footing again, smiling at you. He stands back up and moves his gaze over to the woman. So good of you to join us, Liza. Galvin, still feeling the burn from the arcane attack. We move to your turn.
Okay, you're probably going to want to mute yourself. Okay. So how far away from... let's see. How far away is Barkley from Haru?
From Haru? About 10 feet. Less than 10 feet, just on the other side of the fire.
Okay. I'm basically going to, because he is a big threat right now. I'm going to use Shatter on him. And wait, that's 3d8. That's a good roll too. Let's see. That is 18 damage. And it may also... Will the shatter do anything to the fire? I'm going to ask.
Probably not.
Besides, maybe dispersed a little bit like a powerful wind. Other than that, no.
Okay.
It's a pretty large fire. Okay, and he takes how much damage again?
18.
18. Gotcha.
Also specified that Shatter is an area of effect spell.
Yeah, it
may
is.
hit the caster, especially if he went and stood next to her.
I don't know. Yeah, it is a 10-foot radius sphere. If they are right next to each other, I would try hitting them both, but I don't know if they are too close.
No, she's a good 20 some odd feet from him. She's just come out of the building. And I must make a Constitution save. Okay.
Yeah, my DC... Is it... He has to beat my DC. That would be 13.
See? Yeah, no, he doesn't hit it. He gets all the damage. You push him forward, stumbling him a little bit as he stands up. Laurelin, we come to you.
I actually had a question. I wanted to use my wild shape, but I don't have the table in front of me of the animals that I could actually shift into. Like, I want to know if I could change into a bear and attack.
Let me see. I'm pretty sure that you can.
It just D&D Beyond is not showing me that.
Is it not?
No. It's not showing me the animals that I could potentially turn into.
Those animals would be what challenge rating?
Let's see.
I think for you it's like 1/2 or 1/4. Probably 1/2.
For second level, you can transform into any beast that has a challenge rating of 1/4 or lower.
1/4 or lower. So your options then are boar, constrictor snake, panther, riding horse, wolf, pterodon, if Jason will allow you to use a dinosaur, axebeak, draft horse, elk, giant badger, bat, giant centipede, frog, lizard, owl, giant poisonous snake, giant wolf spider, dimetrodon, again, dinosaur, and hadrosaur, again, dinosaur, along with velociraptor, which is the chicken-sized velociraptor, not the Jurassic Park giant.
Yeah, you don't know anything about dinosaurs, so that's not a thing.
I would recommend boar, panther, or giant elk would be pretty good ones for just being a bruiser at the moment.
Okay. I would like to change to a panther. Can I do that? How do I do that? I've never done it.
You say it.
Yeah.
What you can do is on a second tab on Beyond, or if you have the monster manual actually handy, just type in Panther to the search bar, and it will pull it up. And that will become your stats while you're in.
You're gonna have to bear with me. It's not pulling up.
In the search bar?
Yeah, it's not working for me.
Okay, go to let's see. Go to sources. Click on the monster manual.
Yeah, it's not. Hold on. I think our internet is messing up.
It's holding steady for me.
Well,
Not for me.
if you're going Panther, your armor class is 12. Your hit dice will be 3d8, average of 13. Strength score will be 14, and dexterity score will be 15. Constitution will be 10.
Yeah. That is correct.
Okay.
So just keep that open as a second tab for your Beyond, Leah. And
Just give me a second, please. I'm sorry. My tablet completely crashed.
Okay.
oh no.
You've Wild Shape takes an action unless you're a Circle of the Moon Druid. So that's your action spent, but you can still use your movement to close the distance potentially. The movement speed on Panther is 50 feet.
Yeah. So can I attack Barkley? Like I want to pounce on him and like.
Well, the shifting itself was your action.
Really? Because it says it can be used as a bonus action.
That's
Oh,
if
wait.
you're a Circle of the Moon Druid.
Are you a
But that's
Circle of the Moon?
on my character.
I mean, you may have changed Circle of the Moon.
Oh, let's see. It doesn't. I don't have it listed anywhere in here. I don't see it listed.
Yeah, you're Circle of the Moon. It's under features and traits. It's right underneath Wild Shape. It says Druid Circle, and you are Circle of the Moon. So yeah, that is a bonus action for you.
Okay, so can I attack?
Yes, you can.
All right.
Actually,
so
if you're since you're Circle of the Moon and you're moving towards them, if the Panther moves at least 20 feet straight towards a creature and then hits it with a claw attack on the same turn, it's a DC 12 strength saving throw, or be knocked prone.
All right. Is that what you want to do, bud?
I want to attack him. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
So
failed that strength saving throw.
what?
Failed that strength saving throw.
So do I roll, or is it like?
You have to roll to attack. So you roll a d20.
I rolled a 16. Do I add anything?
Plus 4
Yes,
to
your
hit.
attack. That's 20, which hits.
What's my?
And then the damage for this will be 1d4 if you're doing a claw
Okay.
attack, which will then knock him prone. Well, 1d4 plus 2.
Four.
Okay. Yeah, you pounce on him as your claws sink into his shoulder. You try to bite at his face. He's moving around, wrestling you, screaming in pain. but his hands have got you by the neck, keeping you from ripping his face off. At that point, the fire is still roaring into the sky. The three spirits are there. You see the woman you know as Liza lifts her hand, and the body of Lyle limply rises off the ground, and the spirits shoot into his chest, pushing him back down to the ground with force. The sand will create a little miniature crater as he slams the ground, and his eyes shoot open, glowing a sickly yellow light. With that, Barkley's going to try to roll this panther off of him, and does not. Okay. Laurelin, you and Barkley are rolling around the sand as he's trying to get off your grasp. Your claws sinking deeper into his flesh, and you're still trying to bite at his face and throat.
No.
You, as if you notice the body of Lyle at all, you will notice the crowd of townsfolk on the other side of the fort at the gate, which is wide open. A bolt of purple lightning shoots across the sky, but shoots behind this gigantic blackened form in the ocean itself. The townsfolk are all silently staring at the group and watching this unfold, all of their eyes glowing a yellow but much dimmer than the rising Lyle. Haru, we will come back to you. This happened with Lyle, like right in front of you.
Well, how is Barkley looking at the moment?
Barkley's looking pissed off, bleeding, and wrestling a big cat.
Yeah. Okay. So Lyle is a new challenger. He is currently prone.
Yes.
Tough decisions, but Barkley, I'm sure Laura Lynn can take Barkley down by herself at this point, but I don't want to leave anything to chance. So I'm going to move to Barkley.
Okay.
Just kind of stomp towards him on the sand and make 2 attacks against him, since he is currently prone. I have advantage.
Make a dexterity save at disadvantage, please.
Okay. May I ask for what?
A opportunity attack.
From Lyle?
Lyle.
Okay. All right. Technically, it shouldn't be me making a dexterity save unless he's got some kind of area of effect ability. It should be him rolling with disadvantage because he is currently prone.
What's going on is he's reaching out. He's not trying to hit you. He's trying to
stop me. All right. So, dexterity save with disadvantage, huh?
Yes, sir. You are rather big to miss.
Okay. Couldn't I just make it a strength check against him? That I roll with advantage? Well, whatever.
You could.
Well, with disadvantage, either way, it's going to be an 18.
An 18?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you almost, your feet go just outside of his reach, and you move forward to attack Barkley. I don't even think Haru noticed the swipe trying to grab him.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to challenge you there. I just thought
No,
it was
no,
an
no, it's-
attack
it's-
instead of a grapple attempt, which makes sense. All right, so I'm gonna make 2 attacks against him. Action, bonus action.
Okay.
Against Barkley.
Mhm.
So that'll be a 24 to hit. And
Oh yeah, most definitely.
gonna need this one. There we go. Give me something better than a 5. There we go. 22 to hit.
Yeah, absolutely. Both of them hit.
All right. So I'm gonna save my last key point for now and do a whopping. Oh yeah, a whopping 9 points of damage to him.
Okay. In what way are you hitting him? Describe this
Oh,
attack.
that's right. Basically, Laurelyn's on top of him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to just kick him in the side of the head.
Okay.
Twice. So that I'm not going to contact him.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and since I'm enlarged, I do get to roll additional dice.
For sure.
Thanks, Sam. So, on top of the 9, it's going to be a 13. And then a 15 points of total damage to him.
Okay. Laurelyn, you would feel this as 2 big-ass lizard feet pelt him in a drop kick to the side of the head. He hits it with force that pushes his head down into the sand and bounces him through the air. You both leave the ground and are flying towards the wall. You lose your grip and with cat-like reflexes land on your feet, ready to attack while he rolls limply across the ground. He tries to push himself up and spits a handful of teeth out. Galvin, you see across the fire the crowd of townsfolk are starting to part from the rear to the front. Moving towards you is this large hump. You don't know what this is, but it seems to have a blanket or a curtain or some large piece of cloth over it. From the angle that you see it, it is pushing its way through the crowd, making its way towards you, towards the party. What would you like to do?
It's a cart of some kind, you think? I think.
No, it's a big hump.
The big hump. From what I remember, it might be the thing we fought, unless that thing is in the water. Is it the thing? I don't know. I guess. Where is that woman that's been casting?
She's at the entrance of the house, just off the porch. At this point, Laurelyn is closest to her. You would be about 30 feet from her.
Okay. Well, I'm going to see if I don't know how much health she has, but I'm going to basically see what I can do to take her out.
What's your range?
Would that be like double? No, it wouldn't.
It's 15-foot range.
But my ability wouldn't double its range.
No.
No.
Spell Sniper only affects
30. Well, I could get close enough to use Burning Hands, but I might damage our building. Maybe I should. Okay. Okay, I'm going to go about 20 feet closer to her. And then I'm going to use poison spray.
Okay.
So, let's see. She has to make a Constitution saving throw or take 1d12 poison damage. So I'm going to roll the 1d12. I got a 9.
DC 13.
DC 13.
Constitution.
And what do I got to beat?
13.
Yeah, definitely. As your poison spray shoots out, you hear a terrible voice cry out, "Enough!" As a shield of energy catches this spray. Droplets of it make it through, but the effectiveness of your spell is blocked. She drops to her knees, prone immediately towards the voice. The three of you look. This hump has made it through the crowd, and what stands before you is this large, hunched over bird-like creature. It's elongated, scaly and feathered neck comes up just below where the hump would be in height. Its eyes glowing a bright yellow like Lyle, who is standing up and moving towards this creature. He points a taloned claw at the group. That is quite enough. We did not come here for mere violence. We are here at the master's bidding. And hold on, what is this? As he's speaking, I need nothing. I need nothing from y'all. As he's speaking, you see the town melt away, and what is left is a lush landscape, rolling hills, a clear sky with just strings of clouds here and there, the sun shining brightly. But a shadow falls on the land as you look up into the sky and see a burning giant ball of fire pelting its way through the atmosphere. The voice of this bird-like creature calls out again. Behold the arrival and despair. As this ball of fire comes through the atmosphere and shatters the ground. A white light blinds all three of you as you stand in horror. You feel the blast of heat as your clothing, your armor, your weapons all just disintegrate, as well as your entrails and your skin. It blasts off, leaving just a skeleton that becomes a blackened shadow on a landscape. What follows is a shockwave going out from this island, this now giant crater, as the ocean is pushed away in giant waves. A sound wave right behind it as it makes its way around the planet. You all awaken, coughing and screaming in a fit of terror. On your hands and knees in a cobblestone alleyway surrounded by a yellow fog that you cannot see much through. It limits your ability to see beyond 10 feet. It is choking in its presence. All other sound and all other vision is completely gone. You see the corners of a couple of buildings in this alleyway, broken stonework and shoddy woodwork. You would recognize this is this same type of look that that Freeport had during your short time there. And that's where we're going to take a slight break. Sorry, I need to get something to drink. It won't be long, just like 3-5 minutes if you got to go to the restroom or catch a drink or do whatever. We'll meet back here in just a few minutes.
Alrighty.
Alrighty. Yeah, sorry about that. I was getting dry mouth there. And nothing quenches thirst quite like some mead. Leah is also here. She's going to leave her camera off for just a few minutes
Right.
while she munches some pistachios.
Pistachios.
And
These are
she
my
brownies.
kryptonite. They're sweet.
Brownies.
No, sweet chili.
Chili pistachios, huh?
So good.
All right.
All right, so we're going to jump back into it. The three of you come to your feet. All around is a wall of sickly yellow fog, tumbling through the alleys, canyon of crumbling gray brick walls. You swear this is Freeport, but you can't understand why you would be standing here and how you got here or what this fog might be. The alleyway splits off, curving to the left and to the right. And from behind, through the mist, emanates a sound of slow thumping footprints coming directly your way. What do you want to do?
I suppose I'm going to take a defensive posture.
Okay. Everybody roll initiative again.
Oh my. I have a 16.
You have a what?
16.
16. Okay.
20 for Haru.
I got a 15.
All right. Laura before Gal. All right.
Don't tell me we're Legion.
Haru, you say you want to fall into a defensive stance? Is that the only thing you want
Yeah,
to
it's basically dodge action. I don't see the enemy yet.
do? No, you don't see anything, just the footsteps
Mhm.
as the fog pushes its way to you. Tendrils of it come in contact with you. It almost itches your skin. But as you inhale, it definitely chokes you as you start to cough as it enters your nostrils. It's smoky tendrils burning into your body. You can feel your lungs just catch fire as you're breathing this.
Okay. Is there a place away from the choking yellow mist?
The two splitting off pathways of the alleyway, one winding clumsily down a hill, and another one seems to be a very straight path of stairs going upwards. One to your left, one to your right.
Okay. Upwards, potentially to the rooftops?
No, up a hill in the landscape. The buildings ascend with it.
Okay. I'm going to back up towards the twisting passageway.
Okay. Laura, what would you like to do?
Am I coughing, or is something touching me? Like, what's happening?
Yeah, the smoke, the fog, it irritates your skin like a poison ivy itch burning across your skin. As you breathe, it's burning your insides. Your tongue feels like it's swelling a little bit. Your chest feels on fire as you're choking out the fog.
Can I try to, is there like trees, buildings, like what? Can I see anything that I could climb?
No, the only thing you see is the crumbling brick walls surrounding you in the alleyway, and the two paths, the meandering, twisty cobblestone pathway that leads downwards down a hill, and on the other side is a ascending straight stairway.
I guess I'll make my way towards that.
Which one?
The one going up.
Okay, so Haru's going to the one leading down, and you're going to the one that leads up. Gotcha.
Yes.
Okay. Gavin, what would you like to do?
Well, what I'm going to do is take a piece of my shirt, like my sleeve. I'm going to basically tear it off and put it around my face, basically to help prevent me from inhaling this gas.
Okay. Seems to lessen it a little bit, but still finds its way in. It's like it's the air itself. Do you make any kind of movement at all, or do you stand there doing this with the cloth?
I guess I'm going to make my way towards the stairs going up.
Okay. As the three of you take a few steps, the alley walls start to sag a little bit under the weight of these buildings. Bricks slumping out, a couple of them popping out and busting onto the cobblestone below. The uphill stairs seem to elongate a little bit as the twisting path, the first seems to curve right in front of you, even further, blocking any way of seeing further down the path. The steps are coming closer to you as a giant, slender figure, shadow in the fog itself, becomes barely visible.
I yell, "Who are you?"
With no sound, you see a robed arm start to reach out. Its hand falls away into maggots that, as they crumble off the hand, there are just millions of maggots forming this hand, going into the robe. From below, a tentacle of sorts reaches, feeling out through the fog. Haru, what would you like to do?
So basically, the passageway is curving, so I can't actually proceed down it.
No, you can proceed down it. You just can't see. It's like the curve, like the landscape itself moved a little bit. So it's there. Okay. You can run down and go around the corner, but now you can't see around the corner.
Okay. I'm going to say to this figure, this robed figure of maggots and tentacles, if you don't respond, we'll have to assume you're an enemy. However, something about this whole situation is just wrong. And I'm going to try my hardest to disbelieve that I'm in this location, that these events are happening, that this situation is even here. To me, this just feels like a waste of time. Because this is not where I was, and this doesn't feel like it's reality. This is a trap.
Okay. Laura, you see Haru standing at the entrance of the meandering path, talking to himself about how this isn't real. This isn't really happening. This is a trap. What would you like to do?
I'm going to call out to Haru and try to get his attention. Haru, I'm up here. Can you see?
Well, yeah, I saw which way Lorlan went.
I mean, to me, you look like you're just talking to yourself, acting crazy. That's how I'm taking it. So I'm trying to get your attention.
So, Laura, you start to move towards Haru, calling out his name, trying to catch his attention. He's to you seems like he's talking crazy, like he might be just out of it, denying existence. As you run towards him, the form reaches out and grabs you. Haru, you see this as these maggoty tendrils cover Lorlan around the neck and around the legs. Lift her off the ground. She chokingly screams out as it rips her completely in half. Her blood splattering onto the pavement below you as you look down and it splatters into a messy word, me, M-E. Galvin, you see this also.
I'm going to kind of I heard what Haru said. This isn't real, and for certain, as a scholar and a wizard, I know this is basically a very, very real-looking illusion, at least from my perspective. Anything, it's far more potent than anything I've ever seen. That being said, I'm going to see what happens if I attack the thing. It most likely won't do any good, but I'll see. I'm going to basically walk up to the thing and use Shocking Grasp on it. And that's going to be a 14 to hit. You're muted.
I didn't realize I muted myself. Sorry. You lay your hands on the robes of this creature, and magical electricity flows through, and charred maggots and a gagging smell erupt as these roasted maggots fall to the ground and wiggle along the ground. As soon as you touch this robe, this whole scene falls away for you, and you find yourself in a darkened room, cavern. You can't really tell. It's total darkness. As you try to scream out, no sound comes from your voice. You can't hear anything. You can't see anything. It feels cold. And from there, we will move back to Haru. Haru, you see Galvin scream as he touches this creature and falls to the ground, curling up in a fetal position, grabbing his knees for comfort, screaming like you just ripped his arm off.
Yourself.
No. The last thing I'll do before I mute myself is it was 4 damage.
Okay. I'm going to step towards this thing. And seeing the mess it's made of, the figment of Laurelin, and how Galvin is pretty much wasted by it, I'm just going to take my claws and rake it twice. Just do a cross slash through it. I'm expecting to completely lose consciousness as soon as I touch it.
Yeah, your claws sink into the robes, rending them, and you feel the maggots across your scales as you rend this thing. Hundreds of them fly and cover your friend. Galvin is eaten alive by these millions of maggoty creatures, leaving behind a skeleton pointing to the wall. That's you look up, and the bricks seem to pop out in lettering that spell up, and you are embroiled in a scream as you look up. Flying through the fog is the enormous form of Tiamat in her terrible glory, flying through. The red dragon's head looks down at you, its baleful gaze, opens his mouth and blasts fire down into the alleyway. You hear the last thing before the flame takes you is, "Wake up! Help! Wake up!" And the whisper becomes more audible as Laurelin's voice is pounding through your consciousness. You flutter your eyes open and see her standing above you, trying to shake you awake. He's like, "Wake up! Wake up! Galvin, help me!" You see Galvin reaching all over himself as if the maggots are still there. He's on his ass, pushing himself against what appears to be bars. You are on a rotted cot that smells of shit and vomit. What would you like to do?
I'm going to just look around the room we're in this time for any obvious threats and get off the messy cot.
You get off the cot, and you see all three are in a darkened cell. The faint glow of a torch around the corner, down some type of hallway. You see a large table in the center outside of the cell you're in. Galvin is pushed up against the bars. You look behind you, and the brick is just like a horseshoe. It's very cramped in here. As you stand up, you hear movement in the darkness, but you cannot see anything at all. Laurelin.
Can I transform into a rat and slip through the bars where the hell we are?
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to do that.
Okay. So your form would shrink and warp down to a big old fat rat. You squirm through it. Your little rat butt squeezes through the bar, barely, but you make it through. You see the table with no one sitting there. 2 torches stand on the far wall that has a passageway that goes up some darkened flight of stairs. Around you are 3 more cells. The one directly in front of you, across the hallway from you, is empty except a chained skeleton up against the far wall. To your right, hold on 1 second. To your right is a giant rusted furnace that is so dilapidated that the metal is crumbling, and you can see through it. Howl comes through the chimney stack of it. As you assume, wind, you hope it's wind moaning through this hallway.
Are there any keys? Like, are the cells locked? Like,
well, you're a rat, so you can't really mess with the door right now.
Well, I don't want to mess with the door, but does it look locked? Because you're saying like this furnace is all crumbling. You know, there's a skeleton in one cell. It kind of makes me wonder, like, are we just in an abandoned, jail cell?
It seems to be locked from anything you can see. It looks like your companions are locked in a prison cell.
What are the other cells? Is there anything in those?
Would you like to scurry over there?
Yeah.
As you scurry, you see in the cell to your left is a corpse that has been here probably for a few days. Its sickly, pallid skin is starting to swell a little bit as the bottom of the corpse itself making contact with the floor. You can see where the blood is pooling. It's blackening there. He's very, very dead. And the other one is completely empty.
Huh. And is there any others else in this room?
Just the stairs.
Can I get up the stairs as a rat?
Yeah, you could hop up. You're a big enough rat. But we'll go over to Galvin. Galvin, you come to with Haru standing up. You don't see Laura anywhere, but you snap out of this nightmare that you had found yourself in. What would you like to do?
Yeah, that's a terrible dream. You were there. I'm going to basically look at myself, see if I probably messed myself most likely, so there's nothing to clean myself with, sadly. I'm going to basically stand up and say what's going on.
Haru, taking one last look around the cell, says, "It seems we were more nuisance than threat. We're locked down here." Laura Lynn decided to go out. I think she's looking for a key. Although I'm going to go over and see if the jail cell is actually locked.
Yeah, you grasp the cold iron bars and give it a good sturdy jiggle. You can. There's a little play there, but it is most definitely locked. You are almost confident that maybe you can break the rusted nailings keeping this thing on, or the locking mechanism itself.
Could I try doing something to make it a little more brittle, like Ray of Frost?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I'm going to aim for what looks like the weakest spot, like with my superb masonry skills next to the door. Basically going to find a spot and hit it with the Ray of Frost. I will roll for accuracy. 11.
The ray shoots out from your hand and coats the hinge side of the door, of the cell door, completely in a thick ice. You can't really tell much more than that.
Okay.
Laura, we'll go back to you. You are hopping up these stairs, and you come to a much better lit area that gives way to a wooden floor. Office doors align the walls to your left and to your right. Straight ahead is a hallway that leads to an unknown part of the building. You see to your right is a desk, and above that desk seems to be a cabinet of sorts that you can't reach in your current size, but it sits there mounted on the wall.
Is there anyone in the room, like that area where the desk is?
You don't see anybody. You hear voices, but you don't know where they're coming from. You don't know whether they're friendly or not.
Well, I'm gonna risk it and come out of my ratty form and go through the cabinet in hopes that I find some keys.
Investigation check.
Oh yeah, I rolled a nat 20.
Oh yeah, you open it up and it's tatters of stuff in there, that collected garbage and mounds of you don't want to know what. And as you're reaching through this, your fingers feel an obvious set of keys below the refuse. You pull it out and some of this gunk falls out. Some of it hits your leg. The rest of it plops on the floor like a cow pie.
Ugh. I'm gonna make a silent ew face, and I'm just quietly go back to the stairs with the keys.
Okay. Haru, you see this door covered in a thick ice from Galvin's arcane skill.
Mhm.
What would you like to do?
Is it just like the side edges of it, or does that include the locking mechanism or the actual door?
This seems to be just it. Not seems to be. It is just the hinge side, where the two bars leading up to the actual hinges themselves, which are also coated in ice.
Um, might make it more brittle, slightly.
Mhm.
I'm just gonna brace myself and gently apply some pressure to the door to see if I can make it budge. If I can't, then I'm not gonna try to like force it. So it's like I'm just gonna slowly ramp up the pressure and not do any sudden impacts because I don't want to hurt myself on the bars.
Yeah, you hear the ice crack a little bit, and the iron groan
Mhm.
under your pressure as you apply more and more of your strength
Mhm.
to the door. You're still almost confident that with enough force, you maybe could break this door down.
Mhm. Well, I could break it down, but that'd make a lot of noise. So in the meantime, I'm just gonna like scrape off the ice with my claws and try to get it in more or less working order again.
Oh, I could do that really fast. Freeze thaw does wonders.
To stone,
As,
maybe.
as you two talk amongst yourselves about the best way to go, you hear the jingle of keys as Laurelyn comes down the stairs. Her elven grace keeps her footfall silent, but the keys are jingling in her grasp as she seems to be brushing something off of her leg.
Prestidigitation.
Laurelyn's gonna whisper, "Thanks," and walk over to the cell and start trying the keys.
Okay. Yeah, it doesn't take very long.
Yeah.
There's just a few keys on there. You put it in. As you turn it, you feel the lock give way. The door comes open, and the rusted mechanism falls out of the side of it as the door opens, freeing your companions.
Oh, wow. You could have kicked that down.
Probably. I didn't want to make a noise though.
Understandable.
Haru has just had a big toothy grin since Laurelyn showed up with the keys. And when he exits, he pats her on the back. This is good work.
Thank you.
And is going to proceed to the stairway, I guess.
Hold on. I should probably tell you what I saw up there. There's a bunch of doors, and I could hear people talking, but I couldn't tell if they were friend or foe. That's about it. Oh, and a bunch of gross stuff came falling out of the cabinet that I got the keys from.
Mm.
As you're talking, a pitter patter of steps are coming down the stone stairs. A lithe female figure descends down the stairs. Her skirt, neatly above her knee, seems to be form-fitting and tightened. Her whitened nurse's jacket or top is equally as tight. As she steps into the light, you can see fresh scarrings, just a patchwork of scars and reddened lines across her face. Her lips what seemed to be unnaturally elongated are sliced cheeks when she opens her mouth, go all the way to the back of her jaw hinge. She lets out a grunt as she drops the tray of sharpened instruments and turns to run back up the stairs.
Oh no. Can I entangle her?
Well,
Yeah, we'll roll initiative.
you can entangle her if I don't grapple her first.
I got 17.
16.
19.
Ah.
Okay.
Right, I rolled a natural 20 on her initiative, so she bolts up the stairs, making a horrible sound
Okay.
as she runs
And how far does she get?
up the stairs.
Okay. I was
Well,
looking for a distance, but
the stairs don't go all that far. It's like I don't know,
okay.
10 feet, about 10 feet maybe.
All right.
It's like a normal set, angled set of stairs.
All right. So when it's my turn, I'm going to pursue.
It is your turn.
Okay. So I've got 40 feet of movement. I'm going to use as much as I need to get past her. And if I have to dash and get in front of her, then I will.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, you easily.
It broke up.
Facing her, stopping her in her tracks, that her widened eyes stand in shock as she continues to moan, just pitifully.
Okay. Do I have an action left?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to use my action to just grab her by the throat.
Okay, you hear.
No roll needed, huh? All right.
She's right there and not prepared to make any kind of defense.
And I'm going to drag her back down the passage we came from and say,
But as you would start to move, that they would be moving.
yeah,
As,
on their turns. All right.
Laura?
I'm gonna peek up the stairs. What do I see? Because Rue just took off.
Yeah, you saw him bound up the stairs. As you stand at the bottom, you hear a th 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 th, and then a.
Can I look at the tray that she dropped?
Yeah, you look down to the ground, and there are immaculate and well-kept surgical utensils, several scalpels, a bone saw, a variety of sharpened objects meant to hack up flesh.
Do any have our weapons?
I don't. You reach. You for the first time, have thought to reach for any kind of a weapon, and yours is not anywhere near you. You don't know, like, you don't know where it's at. The scabbard is gone.
I'm gonna grab one of the scalpels.
Okay.
Just in case.
Okay.
And I'm gonna look back at the stairs. Is Haru coming down the stairs?
You hear his footsteps, or you hear some footsteps.
Yeah.
Galvin.
Do we have all of our spells back, or was that? How long have we been out?
For what seems like an instant.
Yeah. So we still probably are limited in that regard. Let's see. What I'm going to do on my turn is basically just clean myself and Laurelyn off with prestidigitation.
Galvin really likes to be clean.
Yep.
I noticed this about you.
Well, I probably messed my pants up in that horrible dream, and before that, you said the cot was covered.
Mm-hmm. Well, it had a stench of it. It wasn't like covered in it. Well, it wasn't mounds of it anyway. Who knows what the stains actually are? But okay, you clean yourselves, and as you're casting this, you look up and see Haru roughly dragging this this female back down to meet you guys. That'll be out of initiative now. She's not putting up any kind of a fight. She's a limp doll in your hand.
Okay. I'm going to. Can you mute yourself, Sam? Okay. I'm going to present her to the rest of the group and say, obviously she came down to visit us and perhaps inflict harm. Wasn't expecting to find 3 unconscious victims. Near as I can tell, she can't actually talk, so she's useless for information.
Have you thrown her down, or you still got
No,
your around her throat?
I'm still grasping her throat.
Okay, she's you're like a mother cat carrying her kitten. She's just limp and compliant.
To stand us?
Well, most likely. I say that we put her in the cell.
She's gonna make noise.
That is true. She can be unconscious in the cell.
I agree with that plan.
You two are too soft. And I'm just going to cuff her on the side of the neck so she collapses, non-lethal damage, just knock her out.
Okay.
And then and then go deposit her on the terrible smelling soiled cot.
You need to put her in the cell where the lock isn't destroyed.
But we didn't destroy the lock.
Yeah, it fell out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
all right.
Once you unlock it.
Then sure, if you unlock one of the other cells.
Yeah, I do.
As you pull this door open, it rustily creaks loudly. You throw the girl in and slam the door shut and lock it back.
Now let's get out.
Yeah, judging by the way her face is all tore up, they're probably going to do worse things to her.
That actually isn't my problem.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe she was a project.
Haru is going to borrow the surgical tools, whatever's left of them.
Okay. Yeah, there's like a bone saw. There's a set of various size scalpels and cutting utensils.
Yeah. And kind of gesturing to these. These were meant for us. Remember that. And he's just gonna like find something to roll them up with, and he doesn't like. We don't have backpacks or anything, huh?
No.
Okay. And there's no like cloth I could roll them up in, tie into a knapsack, per se.
I mean,
if
you still got your
not,
clothing. So, I mean,
yeah.
What you were wearing, if there's something that you could put them in or just carry them.
Okay. I'll just carry him up to the next room and see if there's anything I can store him in. If I don't have a backpack or some kind of kit I can deposit these into, then I'm just going to leave them on the desk up there.
Okay.
As we proceed to the next room.
All right, you go back up the stairs, and the room is silent. Orlin, the previous voices that you had heard are now silent. There's nothing in the air. The dead quiet. It makes it seem as if you three are the only living souls in this place. There are 3 doors on either side of this room. All 3 of them a thick, nicely cut and stained wood. The far end of the room leads into a hallway that is lit by lantern light.
Oh, look at Haru and Whisper. Should we just go out into the hall, or should we open the doors?
I think we need information more than anything. So I'm just going to go pick a door at random. We'll say the far right one. Stand off the side of it, gently creak it open and see what's inside or what's through there.
It is a darkened office room. It is a desk covered in paper, scribbled in a poorly written hand script.
Okay.
Obviously a doctor.
Oh, God.
All right. And there's no windows in this office?
No.
Okay.
Like a scene at a hostel.
It has a darkened lantern on the desk.
Okay. I mean, you might gain some information on patient records or prisoner records there. I'm going to leave that one alone and go to the middle door. Creak it open.
A very similar office room. This one is much neater. The desk has like no dust on it at all. there is a bookshelf just to the left of the desk that is supplied with various tomes and neatly stacked and filed paperwork.
Mhm.
Also, a darkened lantern on the desk itself.
What kind of paperwork?
No,
Can I look at it?
I mean, sure.
I just want to see what it says.
Yeah, you come in, you grab some random stacks of paper. They seem to be talking about inbound patients, their afflictions, and notes about whether or not they're worth selling to the buyer.
Oh,
Are there any references of where we are in the paperwork?
No.
Any dates?
Yes, you find a ledger that has several dates. And this, the last date that you see on there was the second moon of the third month. Insert name here later. Of the current year. You know this is the present you. If this is still a dream, then you're dreaming of some horror in your own day.
Okay. There's some useful information. I'm gonna go check on the final office, supposedly.
And when you open that, that's got nothing in it. There's no desk. It's just an empty, plastered room. Its wooden floor is dusty. The plaster is not really well kept.
I was informed to ask if I had my spell book.
Where would you normally keep your spell book? Like on your person?
On my person.
Mm-hmm. Like how big of a book are we talking about?
Well, it's a book that, well, I had a tome of spells, so it's probably a decent size, so I probably couldn't hide it.
Yeah, it's dawning on you that you don't have anything, your backpack or anything that you had set out with from the colony. Messing with it would be your spell book.
Oh. Haru's gonna check behind his belt to see if he still has the dragon scale.
No.
Someone is going to die screaming. I'm going to go back to the office that was neatly organized and look through it to see if there is any information on where possessions of former livestock effectively may have been put.
Aren't there 3 other doors?
Well, these were 3. I only heard that there were 3 doors
On
in like
either
the hallway.
side.
Okay.
I'll check the other side of the hallway.
Yeah.
So Haru is raging, turning pages through any of these to find any useful information about either the whereabouts of this place, the layout, any kind of information on the separation of patients from their belongings. You don't find anything relevant as far as like where things are taken or held. But flipping through all these papers and books, you're fairly certain you are at some kind of a sanitarium that has a really foul underbelly to it. Galvin, you said you were going to the other side?
Yep. Cautiously, of course.
Okay. You open one of the doors directly across from the last door you were in. And like the last door, there's nothing in this space. Dusty wooden floors, cracked plaster on the wall, empty room otherwise. But as you turn to close the door, something catches your eye on the other side of the door. Is a twisting, curling symbol that you're unsure if you have seen before, but it's painted in a yellow. And as you stare at it, you focus in and remember. You remember the darkened form rising from the ocean and the lightning flashing behind it as you shudder in fear.
Yeah, so I'll take a few steps back. And I don't recognize the symbol, though. Just
No. You're trying to reach in your memory to see if there was any kind of symbology that you may have studied as you were learning the arcane arts.
Yeah.
This doesn't ring any kind of a bell.
Yes, the only kind of spell I could imagine being on the other side of a door would be something to like, let someone know if someone entered the door without their permission.
Do you shut the door back and step away, or?
Yes, I left the door open like slightly ajar.
Okay. And Laura, are you going to a different door?
I want to look at the papers in the chaotic room.
In the chaotic room?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you go in there. And the ones on top are just scribbles. You can't make anything out of it. It twists and twirls and runs on, and large blanks and a couple of ink spills here and there. Just it looks like the ramblings of a madman. But as you flip or pick through the papers, the ones towards the bottom start to become legible, and from what you can gather out of it, the doctor was obsessed with some kind of a sigil and a temple that was found below the waters in the bay.
Ooh, I'm gonna bring that information to Peru.
So I get interrupted in my frenzy of trying to find something useful in the tidy room.
hand you the paper.
Underwater temple with strange sigil causes madness and obsession.
I wonder if that's where everybody is.
At this point, it's possible. We'll keep it as a possible lead. Her's going to pat Laurelyn's shoulder again, and not finding anything else of value in this room, he's going to go out into the hallway and pick a different door to check.
Yeah, I'll follow.
Okay. You head across from the tidy room. And as you open that door, the room is just lined with bookshelves across all the walls. It covers the entirety of the room. Various files and books, a couple of tomes that look fairly old.
What are they books on? Like, is it all the same subject or a similar subject? Like, what is it?
Some of the books are talking about the various humors within the humanoid races, how they vary. You find one interesting book about reading the lumps on a half-orc's head to determine disability. You set that down and pick up an old book that has some arcane writings on the spine of it and a locked flap onto the top of the book.
Can I tell if it's like magical?
Yeah, give me an Arcana check.
All right, hold on. I got an 11.
11?
Yeah.
Okay, you can tell that they're magical in nature, but you don't know anything about what it could be saying.
I think I'm gonna hand this to gosh, I can't think of his name.
Galvin?
Thank you. Yes.
I study it.
Okay. Also give me an Arcana check.
Okay. 9.
Was 5?
Yep. Well, 9 total.
Oh, okay. So yeah, you also don't recognize this script. This must be some personalized magical script protected to protect the book from any intruding eyes.
If I had my spell book, I'd probably try I identify on it.
Haru, you come across one file that actually references the location of this. It is the Trustmore estate, and it seems to be on the same island that Freeport is on. But you know that couldn't be right because you were days travel from Freeport.
Well, maybe days travel from Freeport, but who knows how long you were out. This is either another hallucination or more likely, since we're close, we may have just been moved, and we're dealing with an organization that has reaches into the underbelly of Freeport.
What's in the last room?
It seems to be locked.
Oh.
And the keys aren't working on the door?
No, those keys seem to be exclusively for the cells below.
Okay. What's the lock and the door made out of?
The lock seems to be a very sturdy iron. That the door is a well-constructed wooden door that is stained really well. It's a nice door, thick.
Okay.
Don't burn it.
But fire.
Because fire in a sanitarium never led to bad things.
That desk that you had mentioned earlier, the one with the shelf above it that I found the keys in.
Yep.
Can I go through the desk?
Yeah, give me an investigation check.
Okay.
I love the thud of your dice.
Oh. 13.
You don't seem to find anything in the desk itself. You open all the drawers except one open fairly easily. You pull down a little bit on the one that doesn't open, and it pops out, but doesn't seem to have anything in it.
Is there any like mechanisms like trap doors or secret compartments?
Give me another investigation check, this time at advantage.
Okay. That would be a 19.
A what?
A 19.
A 19. Okay. Yeah, feeling along the top of that cabinet, you feel a button that pushes into the wood, and a compartment pops down like a glove compartment door, just falls down, and out falls a set of keys. This one, it's not the big clumsy keys that you have in your possession, but these are smaller, more intricate keys.
All right. Now we're talking.
There seems to be about 10 of them.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Try them on the locks.
On the what?
Well, the magical book and the door for the last office.
Yeah. That's what we're going to do. I'm going to try them all on the book first.
On the book?
Yep. Book first.
Okay. Roll me a percentile.
Oh. Let's see.
Might want to look at the keys first and see if they match anything, like any insignia on them.
I got 60%.
You got 60?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you try to put one of the keys in, and it doesn't even fit.
Okay. Book. I want to go mess with the door.
Okay. All of the keys seem to fit into the locking mechanism. You fumble around through maybe 6 of them, and they just jiggle, not giving way to the lock. And the 7th one slides in and turns easily, and the door unlocks. As you open it, you see what seems to be an itemized locker of sorts. There is a kind of unkempt suit of half-plate armor. A rusted longsword rests with it. You think maybe this might have belonged to one of the souls downstairs. On the other side is everything that y'all had. Your backpacks, your notes, your spell books, your scimitar,
Perfect.
your dragon scale.
I'm gonna smile at Haru.
All right. Haru is going to, again, pat Laurelin on the back and say, "Good job, key finder." Otherwise, it's going to have to bash down that door. And then he's going to go collect his items and just take a moment to clench his fist over the dragon scale he's got.
The rest of you can kind of see the lust in his eyes when he gets his hand on this dragon scale. Maybe the dragon's reputation of hoarding various treasures rings true even among the Dragonborn.
Maybe it needs to be thrown in the fire.
Yeah. I'm going to take that spell book and get my spell book out and use Identify on it.
Okay. You cast Identify, and you can feel the arcane energies within the pages. The script on the spine becomes legible to you. You understand, and it says a name, Karrin, Karrin. The symbol on the front of the book, where the lock flap places over, is a very unique sealing sigil. So here we are.
All right. Well, I'm gonna stuff. Is there any other stuff that's like, better than the stuff we got? Or was our stuff the best stuff in there?
I mean, there's the beat up half plate and the beat up longsword, but other than that your stuff and his stuff was all that was there.
Okay. I'm gonna say maybe we should get out of here. Walk out the door.
Okay. Were there any rooms left in here that we haven't?
No, you've covered all 6 doors.
All right. So then there's just the way to the. It's just the hallway out to the. Would it be
Yes.
like rest of the building or just the exit of this building?
It would be the rest of the building. It goes into a hallway. Once you step out of the door, the wider hallway goes straight ahead of you, where there's 3 doors along the right wall, and the hallway to your left is thinner. It's not like tight or anything. It's just not as wide as the first one. It leads to a destroyed, crumpled part of the building. Like the ceiling and the walls are crumpled in. You can see a little bit of sky through the top of the rubble.
I suppose we'll take the narrow hallway. We're just going to start wandering through the halls as a group, until we find a way out.
I mean, you step 15 feet into the hallway and you're right on the rubble pile. Like, it's floor to ceiling, or what would have been the ceiling.
Okay, so
a
that's
little bit
just
of an opening.
completely blocked out. Haru doesn't think he could squeeze through that. We'll go the other way.
Okay. You turn around and go back around the corner. You notice the first door as you're coming back up the smaller hallway. It says Dr. Karen on it. As you turn, the wider hallway opens up into a slightly larger room with 4 chairs and a plant with a lit chandelier on a high vaulted ceiling, and a double wooden door directly in front of you.
Okay. Is the plant well taken care of, or is it just dead?
You walk over and look at it, and it feels odd. Like it's real and it's alive, but you don't think it should be. Like it is the freshest thing in this place.
Well, you know, office plants are normally kept alive longer than they should.
Well, this is our druid's spear.
Yeah. I see what I could actually do. Could I do like maybe a nature?
Yeah, you can totally do a nature check on it.
Okay. Let's see.
She'll do a nature, I'll do an arcana.
I rolled a 15.
A 15? Yeah, you recognize this as some of the more exotic plants that sailors would bring back from across the ocean back in Anam Kippur, Pelor. It's nothing of any real note. I mean, some of the more wealthy people seem to like them, but it's something off about it, and you can't tell what.
Yeah.
Gab, you're going to do an Arcana check.
Yep, I rolled an 18 plus 5 is going to be 23.
Oh, yeah, you recognize some kind of a temporal ceiling on this thing. From what you understand of this magic, and which is not very much, it's a way to freeze an object in time.
Wonderful. It's time stopped.
It's what?
Well, it's inside of a time bubble.
When?
Leah, you're not coming through.
Yeah, you muted.
So, what we're dealing with can stop time?
And they use that on a plant.
Why, though?
Because plastic hasn't been invented yet.
What is plastic?
Plastic.
Well, we could ask this Dr. Karen what's going on.
Kind of feel like Dr. Karen wanted to harvest Artipuck. I don't really want to talk to Dr. Karen.
We could have already met Dr. Karen.
Do you think that?
I don't think so. I think she's just the nurse.
I don't think she's Dr. Karen either, but it's possible.
I say we knock on the door and find out.
Well, Haru's just gonna go to the double doors then and push them open.
Okay, you open the doors and it leads into a really nice room. The floors are stained and well kept, hardwood floorings. The plaster on the wall is stylized with various scenes of ocean life and ships and sea creatures and whatnot. It spans from your left or right. It spans about 30, 40 feet. The far wall has large floor-to-ceiling thick glass windows. And on the far end is a bunched up, really, really thick, nice curtain that would slide on a mechanism, blocking all the windows. Immediately to your right, you see two sitting chairs and a small table between them, sitting in front of a large fireplace that the fire is burning. Outside, the window is completely darkened with night.
Is there anyone in the room?
Not that you see.
All right. Well, can I start looking around?
Yeah.
Anything that these keys would potentially go to? I mean, we got 10 of them, right?
Yeah, you do have 10 of them. Nothing immediate. You're walking around admiring the room. I mean, it's, truth be told, the nicest place you've been in a very long time.
I'd like to just head to the nearest door.
Okay. You walk by the two chairs, both of them supple leather. Just on the other side of those, along the same wall that you entered in on, is another set of double doors.
Okay. And just opening one of them to look through is probably another office or waiting area.
No, it is a hallway that goes off to your left.
How many doors are in the room that we're in right now?
The one you're at and the one you entered in on.
The one that we're in right now, not the one I just opened up. Not the hallway.
No, not the hallway. The room that you're in is just those two doors.
Okay.
Both of them a set of double doors.
All right. I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna say found potentially a way out. We might if we find her.
I didn't hear. He's muted.
No.
We're not going to confront the doctor.
And then Haru says, only if we find her. Or we'll just coyly say we're checking out.
Oh my god.
This just became an action movie.
Jeez.
That was fantastic.
It was amazing.
So here we are.
I guess we continue down the hallway.
Yeah.
Okay, entering in the hallway, it is another thinner corridor. It's not as spacious as the one that led into this fine room that you were in. It has a wooden door with a bubble type of glass. You've never really seen this before. It's kind of opaque. You can probably see a form behind it, but not enough to see what it is. Laura, give me a perception check.
Let's see. 9 total.
Yeah, you see nothing but the curiosity of the glass. Along this hallway, though, is a single door on the right and 2 doors that are maybe 5 feet apart from each other on the left.
Okay, and which side has the bubbled glass with a figure behind it, potentially?
Straight ahead.
Okay. We'll try the first door on the left.
It opens up into a room that spans 25 feet to the next wall and another 20 feet immediately to your right. To your left and ahead and really all over this room are bookshelves that are covered in all types of books. Most of them really fine, leather-bound, well-constructed books. This is clearly somebody's library that values the written word.
Okay. But we don't have time to read. Close that door and go to the next one on the left.
It opens up to the other side of the library.
Okay, so it's just the same room.
Mhm.
All right, so door on the right then.
When you open that up, it seems to be a housekeeping closet of sorts. Has some cleaning materials, a house servant's locker. To the right of you is a smaller door. This one isn't human sized. It's like much shorter, about half the size of a man.
So basically, halfling, gnome, or goblin.
Some small critter.
Okay. Just a utility closet. So, I say we just head down to the far end to the not opaque, it'd be translucent glass.
Okay. As you open it, it opens easily enough into another large room. Directly in front of you seems to be 2 very large doors, set of double doors, surrounded by, on either side, again, floor to ceiling, thick glass. Not only that, there is stylized stained glass along the sides of the wall of this entrance room. A long hallway goes immediate to your right, several doors down there, and a set of double doors immediately to your right, or left. Sorry.
I guess we should go to the double doors and see what's behind them. But there's
Yeah.
no figure in this room?
None that you see.
Okay. Double doors it is.
It enters into a smaller room about half the size of the room that you entered when you came up the steps with the desk and the doors. About half the size of that. Several chairs and a couch line up against the walls. This seems to be some kind of a meeting room, for lack, where potential patients or loved ones maybe would speak to the nurses or doctor. Along the other corner of this room is another set of double doors.
I mean, we're just going to start going through all the doors and try to find a way out of this labyrinthian hospital.
Okay. This one opens up into a large room that as soon as you open the door, the stench hits you. You look in a very large room with beds lining up against the far wall to your left, broken glass, the wind is howling out there outside. The far wall is crumbled in, the ceiling is caved in. On each bed rests the thinned out corpse of some poor starved patient that they seem to have been chained to the bed and left to starve. All of them have been dead for weeks at least.
And there's no way out of this room aside from broken glass?
Yep. That leads into some kind of a courtyard.
Okay. And is it far drop down to the courtyard or no?
When you walk over to the glass, it would be just a small climb out of the window, and you would be on the ground.
Okay. And obvious exits from the courtyard?
Yeah, it's wide open. It has several rows of designed shrubbery and bushes. Some are shaped in humanoid, statuesque shapes. Others lead down some kind of a shrub path. Beyond that, you see the Fang Mountain, as the locals had called it, directly to the north of you. And to the west is just hills and grassland.
Okay. But we don't know necessarily on this island which direction it'd be to Freeport.
No, you don't know exactly where you're at on the island.
Mm-hmm. Did we hear anything about how large this island is? Like, is it?
I mean, it's a decent sized island. It's much bigger than the colony that you were on previously on.
Okay. So basically, we just go to the beach and start walking around until we eventually get to it.
Right.
It might be days, though.
The place isn't known for the friendliest of people, though. The risk is fairly high, running against people that couldn't care less about your well-being and more about what's in your pocket. Do the rest of you follow Haru out into the courtyard?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you see the full moon above you, shining brightly, lighting up the grasslands to your west and the mountain to your north. And I believe that is where we're going to pan out for the night. It's getting sort of late, so
yeah.
Go ahead and cut it at a good time.
Mm-hmm. We escaped the sanatorium.
Metallica plays in the background.
I was thinking
Instead, we have that weird lullaby chime.
Oh yeah, that just adds to the atmosphere, doesn't it?
Yeah, that it does.
All right. So yeah, we're going to cut it here. To anybody that is watching this now or in the future, I really appreciate the view. I hope you enjoyed the little chapter here, and we'll be back for chapter 11 in the near future. Time and schedules willing. I'm Jason Smith. These are my wonderful players. You have a fantastic evening.